If you've ever been told, take it slow, aim for half a pound a week, make your diet sustainable, this video is for you. My name is Jake and I've been in the fitness industry for over 7 years, coached hundreds of guys through elite level transformation. And from working with all these people over the past 7 years, there is something that I know trips a lot of people up when they're trying to lose fat. And that is that slow dieting is not sustainable at all. In fact, it's probably the reason you never end up finishing your fat loss phase. You constantly lose motivation. You say you're starting again every Monday and you never actually finish off the diet that you said you were gonna. Guys can spend months in a deficit thinking about food all day long, training with low energy, saying no to meals out, becoming obsessed with that scale weight, only to end up looking in the mirror 8 weeks later with zero change at all to their physique. And that's exactly where motivation dies and the cycle will restart itself again. In this video, I'm going to break down for you the method of aggressive dieting. We're going to be talking about why slow dieting often destroys adherence, what the science actually says about aggressive calorie deficit, how you can set up your aggressive fat loss phase correctly in the right way, and the most important one is what you do at the end of the aggressive fat loss phase. Aggressive dieting can be a disaster when not done properly. Aggressive dieting for the right person with the correct structure is a game changer for getting in shape and staying in shape. Aggressive dieting can be one of the most effective fat loss tools that you've not tried yet. So let me help you out with it. Firstly, we need to get into why the reason slow dieting is going to fail you. Let's start with the thing that most people are too afraid to say. Fat loss is not just a psychological problem. It's ultimately an adherence problem. Everybody loves talking about the perfect calorie deficit. Nobody talks about how long you can actually realistically stick to that deficit before breaking the cycle, because the longer you end up dieting, the more expensive that becomes mentally. And this is exactly where taking your diet slow can completely backfire. In reality, it sounds sensible and I can see why people promote it. Smaller deficit, less hunger, more flexibility, more sustainability, and sometimes for the right person that can be the right move. But for the real world, slow dieting can create the worst problems on your fat loss phase. You still have to restrict yourself, you still have to have the ability to say no to things, you still have to be disciplined, and you still feel the friction of dieting, but you don't get a reward back half as quickly, so then you don't stay as mentally locked in. So then what ends up happening is you do the hard bit, you gain that momentum, but the progress feels too small ultimately to care about continuing. And your motivation isn't going to come from your suffering. Your motivation is going to come from seeing progression. Once you start seeing results, that's the actual easiest time to stay locked in with your fat loss journey. And that is the bit that most people miss. If someone's making visible progress week to week, clothes are feeling better, they're getting compliments off people, they are far more likely to keep on going. But if it's been 5 weeks, the scale's barely budged and your clothes feel the exact same, are you going to be able to stick to that diet? I don't think so. And that is exactly when your brain will start negotiating with yourself. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe I need a cheat meal. Maybe I'll start properly again on Monday. And then the diet hasn't failed because it was psychologically bad. It failed because the person got bored, frustrated, and mentally fatigued before they even saw a reward. And that is why I say all of the time, the best diet is not always the one that's going to be the most sustainable on paper. It's the one you can actually adhere to long enough to get the job done. So why can aggressive dieting actually improve adherence? Now, before anyone takes this clip out of context and I get cancelled on GB News, I'm not saying everyone should follow this approach. There's a massive difference between an aggressive fat loss phase that's well structured and slashing your calories to nothing so that you're living on broccoli and water for weeks. Those two are not the same thing. A properly set up aggressive dieting phase can work better for some people because it solves one problem. It shortens the time that you actually have to be dieting, and that matters way more than people realize. So option A, you diet very slowly for 18 to 30 weeks, constantly half in, half out, losing motivation every other week. Or option B, run a tight, well-structured, aggressive 6 to 8 week dieting phase. Get a meaningful chunk of fat loss back so you can see that return of investment quick, and then transition out of that diet properly. For a lot of people, option B sounds way better, but they go for option A every time because that's what social media tells you what to do. Why is option B better? Because there's a finish line. There's urgency, it's within sight, there's visible feedback, you gain momentum, there's less time spent doing the annoying middle work of trying to get results and seeing nothing back. From a behavioural perspective, this matters a lot. Research on weight control consistently shows that motivation, self-regulation and adherence can be massive drivers of huge success. Long duration of dieting creates frustration, friction, fatigue and drop-offs, while visible progress and clear structure can improve buy-in and consistency. So no, an aggressive dieting phase is not not automatically just saying it's less sustainable. Sometimes dragging out a diet for 6 months is what's actually going to be unsustainable when you get no results in the end. So the science behind what the aggressive deficit actually does. So when you hear aggressive dieting, you're going to think muscle loss, metabolic damage, binge eating, and a guaranteed rebound. But the honest answer is aggressive deficits absolutely come with trade-offs, but they're not automatically a bad idea. They're a tool. Here's what we know. Some studies can show on really low aggressive dieting phases, 25% of the weight lost can come from lean mass if the diet is not set up correctly, and that is where people go wrong. They hear aggressive dieting and immediately start eating rationed food, but no, the goal is to lose fat as quick and efficiently as you can while still protecting performance in the gym and muscle retention as best as possible. Those are two very different things. Resistance training and prioritizing protein within your calories is the most important thing. This is what's a non-negotiable. So this means making sure that you're lifting weights appropriately and progressing, following a good training program that's going to give you the best structure to retain your muscle mass, and eating enough protein to recover and rebuild muscle tissue. And the easiest way I think about this is what built the muscle is what will keep the muscle. So if you go into the gym with the same intent, you try and lift the same weights and you push yourself hard in the gym, you're not going to lose that muscle, especially not if it's in a short period of time. A well-run aggressive dieting phase looks something like this: high protein, proper training structure, smart food choices, clear time cap and an end date, and a sensible exit strategy from the diet. Aggressive diets will increase your fatigue. You will feel more tired, but the trade-off to seeing that scale weight coming down and down is what will keep you locked in. So how to know if an aggressive dieting phase is good for you or not? This is where the nuance actually matters. Aggressive dieting is probably better for someone who has a good chunk of body fat to lose, wants a short focused phase, can follow structure well, already resistance training and lifting weights, can focus on high protein within their diet, understands that the dieting phase isn't going to last forever, and has a plan of action for when the dieting's over. I think it's fair to say why it's not the best idea for someone. So it's probably not good if you're already lean, obsessed with scale weight at all costs, prone to binging and reset cycles, training like a hybrid athlete, doing running, marathons, you've got poor sleep or a high stress job. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you fit into Avatar 1, then this is exactly how I think you should structure that aggressive dieting phase. Step 1, keep it short, 6 to 10 weeks maximum on the diet. Step 2, use a deficit that is aggressive but not stupid. The sweet spot for this is around 25 to 35% minus your maintenance calories. The question you're asking yourself is not what's the lowest calorie diet I can survive on day to day. It's what's the largest deficit I can provide while still having good training performance and feeling like a human overall. Step 3, protein has to be prioritized. This is the building blocks of muscle, and if you go low with your protein and prioritize carbs and fats, you're gonna lose muscle mass. So I would highly recommend going for 1.8 to 2.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Step 4, keep lifting heavy. Do not use this as an excuse to start lifting light weights in the gym. Like I said before, what built the muscle keeps the muscle, so your gym sessions are what really matters the most. Step 5, I would always try and follow the same structure day in, day out. So stick with the same meals, same food choices, because this just makes it easier to adhere to. What I've seen, aggressive dieting phases work better when life is temporarily structured around that phase. And remember, you're doing it for a shorter length of time, so it should be easier. And the final one is have an exit plan. An exit plan is knowing what to do when the diet ends. So here is exactly what you need to do at the end of your aggressive phase so you don't rebound. This is the part which will actually decide whether aggressive dieting was a smart move or whether you've took 2 steps backwards. Because if you finish a 4 to 6 week cut and pull off 5 to 6 kilo is amazing. But if you then go and pile it all straight back on and celebrate, eating food like you're a 13-year-old child with a big bank account, this is all going to come down to your exit strategy problem. And this is going to bite yourself in the arse and you'll have wasted the last 6 to 8 weeks. What you want to have is a bit of a phased plan. Phase 1 is to make sure that you go to a maintenance calorie dose. You don't want to stop tracking calories. This is actually what's going to help you a lot. This is what will continue that structure. But by bringing yourself up to a maintenance calorie, it's going to stabilize your appetite levels. This is instantly going to give you better training performance, better pumps in the gym, a better mood, and increased energy levels. The next phase is keep the routines that got you in shape going, whether it's training at the same time, eating similar food choices. The next phase to be wary about is to expect the scale weight to go up and down. Just because it has a spike up straight after dieting doesn't necessarily mean you've gained body fat straight away. It usually means you've got more glycogen, more water, more food in your gut, and less depletion. If you panic again and then go low with your calories, you're going to keep yourself in a bad cycle. The phase after that is to either hold your body weight or slowly start building up, depending on if you're feeling confident confident enough to do so. If your appetite's still racing all over, then I'd recommend maintenance for a few more weeks. If you're feeling confident and you want to start pushing your body weight up, then you can go in towards a calorie surplus and start adding a few hundred extra calories a day, a few weeks, and seeing how that makes your body respond. So the final bit is I want to give my actual take on this. Slow dieting isn't just automatically better because people have branded it as sustainable. Sometimes being more aggressive with the approach is what will get you in shape, and if you've not tried it before and you fit the categories that I've said, I highly recommend you give it a go to get some results. And if you've been stuck in that cycle of constantly not getting into shape, then the problem might not actually be you and your discipline. It might be your structure. And I can help you with that. So if you drop me a message on Instagram with the word info, I'll give you all the info in my coaching service and how it works.